Hey, what's up, SOJO? If you're joining me here today, you're either doing one of two things. Either you weren't able to catch the live stream last night, so I wanted to shoot something specially for you, or you just wanted to revisit so that you could hear maybe a little bit more specifics in a more concise manner. I also hope to include some slides in here so that you guys can see specifically what I'm talking about. Basically, what I want to do today is I want to tell you where we've been, where we're going, and what it's going to take to get there. Where we've been, where we're going, and what it's going to take to get there. So where we've been like every other industry on the planet Earth. We have been severely affected by COVID-19, but our church has grown. The body has grown, and that's crazy. That's incredible. It's incredible. You know, we had a 1 year anniversary on March 8th that I couldn't even be at because I was afraid that maybe I had gotten sick and could have contracted COVID. So I wasn't even there. And then the next week we got shut down, and we've been shut down ever since. So we find ourselves homeless. But we learned two incredible facts during this time: that just because the church building is closed doesn't mean the church is closed. We have seen people join our church. We have seen business owners rally around us. We have seen our church care for people in ways that they've never cared for people before. We've also seen our church reach out like never before, and we don't want to lose the lessons of the pandemic. And one of the biggest highlights have just been in the last 4 to 5 weeks, being able to have services again and have them in a drive-in style. But more than that, it's the energy that is there when you come. The fact that new people are coming and becoming a part of the church through a drive-in, or the people that got connected through the online are now coming to the drive-in. And it just makes me look forward with anxious, incredible, awesome anxiousness what is going to happen in the next season. So where we've been, we got closed like everybody else. Where we're going is what I want to talk about today. And we have two very real, but also very different. And I want to give the decision to the people on what we do next. Two different possibilities that we can do in the coming season. But for the next 6 weeks, I want to talk about what we will be doing. And what we will be doing is, after meeting with a team of people, it's our COVID response team, we decided that if we can stay outside as long as possible, that's what we need to do. The cases are rising, people feel more free, and there's energy with what we're currently doing right now. So because of that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a hybrid between a drive-in and a SOJO under the tent revival. We've got some access to some of those old school revival tents. And so we're going to start hosting services, not this weekend, but in the coming couple weeks, SOJO under the tent. And what that means is it has the ability to keep us outside where people feel more free, also give us the ability to stay a little bit cooler, stay a little bit in the shade, and also have the ability to be able to continue to harness the energy that we're receiving from being at Robert and Kathy's place, whom we are eternally grateful for. And just a shout out to Papa Rob's Paradise Ice. And please, if you're watching this video, go support them with your business. It would be incredible. So for the next 6 weeks, we'll continue to be there, which means hopefully by the decision that we'll make today in the coming week, we'll be able to move on that. And by come August, we'll be ready to move into our next location in a new season of ministry. And that's where I want to come to you guys tonight to decide, what do you want to do? There's two options on the table. Option number one is to go into a storefront or warehouse type of facility that we can rent for a 3-year term. Now, here's some specifics on this. We have to have a space that's at least 8,000 square feet. We're roughly about 150 person church now, and that's not with everybody returning yet. So we could be anywhere from 100 people to 200 people. I just don't know, because it's hard for me to determine based on the current situation. Regardless, we still need kids space, we still need office space, we still need all of those things. And based off of what we need and what is available, the lowest rent that we can find in a comparable area to where we're at today is around $4,000 per month, which that may sound a lot, but trust me, it is a very good deal currently. Now, in addition to having to pay your rent, there would be in any facility that we walk into, but specifically the two that we're looking at, significant upfit that we would have to do, around $50,000. So with the pledge that I'm asking for today, my estimate to go into a full-time space that is our own, we would need $75,000 in upfit money. So what that money would do is $25,000, actually $24,000, would go to pay 6 months of rent. So we could go ahead and just pay 6 months of rent to the current land leasees. I don't know if we're the leasees or the lessors, I can't remember, but we'll pay to the owners 6 months of rent. And what that does for us is it takes the pressure off immediately. And so that we can go into this space, upfit it, and feel very comfortable come March of 2021 that we have enough money to continue to pay rent and move forward. Also, so $25,000 for that, and then $50,000 to build walls, to put chairs, to do signs, to do audio, to do kids, to do all the things that we would need to do to go into a full-time space. That's option number one. And we do have 2 spaces that we could do that in that we feel very confident would work very well. The other potential is to go into another portable type scenario where we would set up and tear down, where the cost would be significantly less, but the intention to go into this would be to continue to save money so that we could buy something of our own in the near future. Why we can't buy something now is because we don't have enough bank records to establish to the bank that we're a credible source of revenue for a mortgage. And so we would have to continue to build up bank records showing that we're able to save money and do the things that we need to do to buy. So really the question that we have to answer is, do we want something now, or is it worth the wait? And again, I don't want to lead us into something that we are not ready for. Even if we decide to go into a portable space, I'm still asking for the pledge, and the reason why is so that we can do the same thing. We would still need income, extra income, to buy the materials to go into a new space, to essentially in some way relaunch our church. And also to pay the 6 months of lease for the portable location, as well as a specific office location that we could call our own, so that we could have additional staff members be able to work inside of the office, because right now the only office that we have is my office, and it's not something that we can bring other members of the team into in a full-time capacity. So again, $10,000 to relaunch our church with equipment and probably marketing in there, as well as $15,000 to pay 6 months of the rent for the portable space and also an office location. And then we would be able to put $25,000 into a building fund. Now, let me make sure, yep. The budget breakdown for each of these scenarios is still the same amount of $15,000. You can see on the slide that you're looking at currently where that money would go. And the biggest difference between the portable location and the permanent location is the ability to save money. Now, this is all based on the $15,000. We could still be able to save money going into a permanent location if the resources were there. But just based off of the $15,000 budget that I'm asking you guys to meet tonight, based off of that, we would be able to save $2,000 a month versus not being able to save very much at all. If we were to go into the portable, we could save $2,000. If we were not going into the portable and got a full-time space of our own, we would be able to not really save that much at all. So again, what I'm asking for tonight is for us to go to this next slide. Is the need is for us in two manners. Number one is to go from around $10,000 per month in giving to $15,000 per month in giving. And here's what I know. The money is there. The money is in our church. And all that needs to happen is, and I say all like it's so easy, but the key to the solution is the people who call SOJO to simply abide by what God tells us to abide. And that abiding principle is called the tithe. If each and every one of us would truly give the Lord his portion, we would have no problem not just reaching our $15,000 goal, but probably blowing that $15,000 goal out of the water. And so simply today, with the pledge that I'm talking about, the chip that I'm going to cash in, is would you begin to tithe? Would you begin to give God his portion? And when you give God his portion, what you're going to be able to give is to give other people a place to belong, a place to call home. That's the number one ask. The number two ask is the $75,000 that we need. Now, regardless of whether that is a full-time location that we would upfit or $75,000 so that we could begin to save even more so that we'd have a very significant down payment for a location later on down the road, I'm asking you guys today to commit or pledge to give $25,000. Now you're saying, well, $25,000 is not $75,000. I realize that. What we have in the bank today to be able to commit to either a full-time place to upfit is $25,000. With your $25,000, that equals $50,000. And what I'm committing to you today, not only will my family give to the commitment that I'm asking every other family to give to, but I will personally go out and raise an additional $25,000 to get us to the $75,000 that we would need to move into the permanent, full-time building that we would need. And in the same manner, if it was a portable location, to help us get the money to do the things that we would need, so that in either capacity, we'd have the $75,000 to commit to either something now or something in the near future. That's my ask that I want you guys to hear. Two different asks. Number one, a monthly contribution tithe, and then two, a one-time offering to help us to get to the $25,000. I want you to realize this. I know that every family can give differently, but the average gift that we would need for the 70 giving units that we have is $357 to reach our $25,000. And here's what I want. My family's going to give way more than that. But the average gift that we need, some families can't give $350. They can maybe give $100. But somebody like my family can give a little bit more to make that up. But the average gift that we need is $350 to get to our $25,000 pledge. You may be asking, well, what's our money situation currently? That's a great question. Number one, we don't have any debt. Number one, we're like a 15-month-old church. We have no debt. But by the grace of God, we have around $50,000 in our bank as cash. That's not including our assets. I think our total asset worth currently right now is around $100,000. That's equipment and other things like that. But cash on hand, we have about $15,000 in our bank account, our checking account, as well as we have about $35,000 in our savings account. This is why we're able to set aside $25,000, because we don't want to break our bank. If we have 35 and gave 25, we'd still have $10,000 in reserve, as well as the $15,000 in our checking. So we don't want to break the bank to go into that. That would be dumb. That would be foolish. We don't want to be fools. But at the same time, we want to be wise stewards, and to make sure, I just want to let you guys know that we're in a good, healthy financial position as a church. Thank you to the generosity of the folks who do give and are giving. And I do realize that there's a lot more that we can do. in even a better position that we can be in if we will all bind together in this pledge. Now, my ask is just going to be in a second, but I want to make sure that we do not do this. We do not forsake mission. And our mission is to help people discover life, discover purpose, and discover peace. And the ways that we have reached out into our community in the past 3 months cannot stop and will not stop. It will take leadership responsibility as well as monetary resources. Praise the Lord that through the volunteers of our church, we have the leader responsibility taken care of. But we still need the financial ability to bless our community through things like community engagement, through CCM, Cases for a Cause, Present Age Ministries, so on and so forth, as well as meeting our neighbors through doing tangible acts of kindness like offering ice cream, through Papa Rob's at different neighborhoods. These are things that we must continue to do as a church. In addition, we cannot forsake the discipling, the leading, and the community of the saints. We got to make sure that we're taking care of the people that God has entrusted us to. And we need leadership to come alongside of me to help in the areas of leadership development, discipleship, and as well small groups. And so I'm asking each and every one of us to realize that we cannot forsake these things, regardless whatever decision that we make today. I will not allow that. If you guys would allow me to be your pastor, I will not allow that. So my ask for us today is four things. Number one is that each and every one of us that would use the Google form that's supplied on the website that you're on, or the website link that you will have given or see or whatever that is, that you will use that to make a one-time pledge. Number two is that you would also make a monthly pledge. If you're already giving today, I'm still asking you to do this, because basically we need to get a total number. And so please, even if you're giving, please write in the amount that you plan on giving on a month-to-month basis. I'll say this: for 70 giving units to reach $15,000, the average gift a month only needs to be $224. A lot of us pay that for a cell phone bill. And so I'm asking us, each and every one of us, to not just give the average. Some can give way more and some can't give as much, but all of us would abide by the principle of giving God our first, our best, and the tithe, the first 10%. The third thing I'll ask is help us to decide whether we should go into a permanent space now or save for the future. And then fourthly, there's no greater time for our church to restart and to reboot than right now. And one of those areas that we can restart and reboot is our volunteering ministry. And so I'm asking each and every one of us today to sign up for the areas of ministry that we would like to be involved in. Even if today you are already involved in a current ministry, I would ask you to please either re-sign up for the same ministry that you're in currently, and or maybe you want to change. There's no better time than right now to change. In either capacity, both Sunday ministries, you'll see things like kids ministry and setup ministry and tech ministry and band ministry and host ministry and online host ministry, all these different things, as well as non-Sunday endeavors. Maybe currently you're only involved in a Sunday endeavor and you want to get involved in a non-Sunday endeavor. One endeavor that I can tell you right now that needs some serious volunteers on non-Sundays is our small groups. People who would say, you know what, I really would like to either lead a small group or be an assistant leader to a small group because our church is growing. Therefore, we need more small groups. I hope, I said this on Sunday, and I'll say this and I'll close. About 6 months ago on Christmas of 2019, I gave everybody a poker chip, and I said this. I said that if I have earned any favor in your life, if I've deposited any amount of positive help in your life, if I've been a help to you, if I've made deposits in your life, I need to cash a chip in. We had a goal to reach 160 people to come to our Christmas service, and I gave everybody a chip, and I said, I want to cash this chip in. The chip is go ask somebody, go bring somebody. That Sunday we had 220 people to come to our worship service. So God met that need. And I know it's not a fact of whether I think, I know we have the capacity to reach $25,000. I know we have the capacity to reach $15,000 in giving a month. But it's not a question of capacity, it's a question of commitment. And I'm asking you to commit. And I realize that when I'm asking you to commit, I'm cashing in a chip. So I pray that in some way I've made a positive impact on your life, in your life, through your life, that I can make this ask. And through this ask, I realize that I'm cashing in a chip. But I realize that the reason why to cash in this chip is more than worth it. So again, my ask is simply this. Would you commit to giving a one-time gift to help us reach our goal of $25,000? Number 2, would you make a monthly pledge to help us to reach our goal of $15,000 per month in our giving? And then number 3, would you let us know your thoughts on whether we should rent full-time or continue to stay portable? And then number 4, let me put a caveat here. In our research with the portable or rent, even if the majority says to rent, I still want the ability to let the leadership of the Holy Spirit guide us and our leadership team, but it's a fleece for us to realize where the hearts and the minds of the people are at. So just because you say one thing does not mean that we're going to make necessarily that decision. I just want to put that as a caveat. And then the last thing, you're volunteering, you're serving, you're door holding is what we call it. You know, the scripture says, I'd rather be a door holder in the house of the Lord than to dwell in the house of the wicked. So anyway, would you please commit today by filling out the form that you see the link for? Fill out your name, fill out your contact, tell us what you can give monthly and one time, your thoughts on whether we should be portable or we should be permanent. And then lastly, where can you get involved in either case of the scenario? Thank you for listening all 23 minutes of my talk today. I appreciate it very, very much.